So I finally get around to create my little board here. I shouldn't say creating, I should say replicating. You can find this information at greenwatts.info, and what it is a small control board for a single axis motor. So if you wanted to control two axes, you'd have to have two boards. And this is actually the first PCB that I've ever made, and I did this one with ferric chloride and a single copper laminate. So what you do is you take the graphic that you download off their website and then you print it out on a laser printer. And I found that if you size, like if you do rough copies on a just normal paper and you size this socket to your printout so that you know when you're going to print it out on the final paper, which is inexpensive photo paper used in a laser printer, which you're normally not supposed to do because the plasticized toner doesn't bond with it. But that's exactly what you want, because then you iron that onto the bottom with a normal clothes iron, and then you soak it in water and you peel it back, and then you get your image on there, and then you drop it in the ferric chloride, and it etches off. Now I found the most difficult process was the ironing, because if you iron too little you have spots missing, and if you did what I did and you iron too much, it's really hard to get off when you're totally done. I actually had to scrape it off with the side of a razor blade. So that's a little learning experience for me, but this is part one. I'm just getting the components put onto the board, and this will control one motor. I'm not too worried about the dual axis, because what I'm going to do with it is I'm going to have three of these boards. These are 6 volts, 200 milliamps. So with 3 of these at approximately $6 or $7 US delivered to your door, so $18 worth of solar boards will give you a theoretical 600 milliamps. So realistically you'll be able to get 400 milliamps, let's say, 6 volts, to charge a small lead acid battery. And then I'm gonna power one of these guys, Slayer Exciter, and basically the sun will charge the batteries, and then I'll be able to drive this thing at approximately somewhere between 200 and 300, I'm hoping for, milliamps. I've had really good results producing light at the 600 milliamp level and up, but a couple buddies here on YouTube, the Magneticist and Jiffy Coil, are helping me learn how to bring the primary into resonance with the secondary, which will lower my draw. And I think with the tracking, with the solar tracking, I will be able to get some pretty substantial free light out of the deal. Another panel that you can pick up for about the same price as this one, and this one actually runs at an open circuit of 10 volts, probably, you know what, I forget, but it's less. It's like maybe 80 milliamps, about the same price. It's a laminate as well, and you know, $6 or $7. So you got some options there. Of course, you can go 12 volt if you want to, but I'm trying to stay under 8 volts. One of the reasons is that I find that when you run the transistors on these slayers, if you stay at low voltage, the transistors are quite reliable. And basically, I want to have this thing set up on the farm and just have it work. You know, hit a switch, it goes. No muss, no fuss, no swapping around transistors and that sort of thing. So that's the second part of the solar Slayer exciter project is getting the solar panels to track the sun with a simple solar tracker circuit that uses 3 LEDs and a voltage comparator LM339 to keep it tracking. And I'll use a shunt regulator, voltage regulator, and when my battery is charged and the excess energy is available, probably what I'll do is I'll shunt directly to the unit and just have it fired. Or, I mean, you can always heat up a big fat resistor to shunt off the energy, but it's nice if you can actually do something. So what I might actually do is I might have the regular, I'm going to build a small, that'll be part of this project too, is a small voltage charge controller so that it's inexpensive. But as far as shunting the energy, when the battery is charged, what I might do is shunt the energy to a secondary smaller battery and then have a small solid state Bedini or possibly Sukuhoyo's circuit. I finally got it working pretty good too. I'm sorry, I forgot what he calls it. I think it's called a Stingo. And that would desulfate the battery, so it would charge the battery with the sun all day, for example. And then if the battery was fully charged, then the sun would switch and the solar panel would charge a secondary very small sealed lead acid battery. And then at points when the battery was at the end of a day, using voltage comparators, you could have the battery like, let's say for example, if the battery was not fully charged but the sun had gone down, and you could use the secondary small battery to pulse spikes and use the secondary battery to charge the bigger battery, but really what it would be doing would be desulfating it. That would be kind of an interesting little project. And essentially why I go to all this trouble is I want to do everything on this smaller scale, but in the end, if this stuff works out really well, it would all apply to solar greenhousing and production of pea pods in the winter. And one of the reasons why I'm going with pea pods is because you can eat the entire plant. So for example, if you cannot mature pea pods to full pea pods, like as in peas in the pod, the tendrils and the shoots are all edible. The entire plant is edible. So it makes a good winter plant, and it's not pea plants don't require a real bright sun. So I'm going to try that winter growing of pea pods using solar Slayer exciter. Okay, that's another installment for the project. Thank you very much. Special thanks to the Magneticist and to Jiffy Coil and Johnny Davo, Lid Motor, all you guys helping us out with this. Thank you very much.